Just watched Predator Killer Killers without seeing any of the other films in the franchise, so what did I think? This film has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is insane. Is it that good? No, but I think it's definitely worth its salt, and I understood it even though I hadn't seen any of them. The film, which is the first animated film in the franchise, is an anthology, following 3 different warriors across their distinct time periods fighting each an individual predator. The film is split into 4 different chunks, 3 for each of the warriors, and then one that's kind of a conclusion, bringing them all together. The first bit was about a Viking warrior taking on a predator, which I thought was the weakest story. I thought I had an expected emotional setup, which it was not that strong, with the weakest fight, but I do like the character here and how it tries to outsmart the predator. Then what I think is easily the best storyline of the 3 was the samurai story, despite the fact there's almost no dialogue in this part. Set in feudal Japan, it's the story of these 2 brothers who are really close, who then split off because they have to fight each other to become a samurai. After 20 years, they finally meet each other again to fight and then fight a predator. The action is fantastic, just the setting of everything, the darkness, the story of this fallout and this kind of vengeance that one of them has, and everything getting uprooted by this predator's arrival just makes the most sense in terms of a gripping story. Beautiful fight scenes. And in the middle of the pack story-wise was the story of this character named Taurus, who's a fighter pilot in 1940s Europe fighting a predator. Kind of Top Gun-esque, you get the expected emotions there, elements about family, sacrifice. This one was the one I thought was the most fun to watch, as I did like this character. Some may see him as annoying in terms of his just witty banter with himself, because he talks to himself a lot, but I thought it was really fun watching him think on his feet. And where I think the story kind of tumbles is the last 20 minutes, which brings everything together. I won't spoil too much about it, but it's kind of expected where things are leading to. And I think ultimately, if these chunks had even more time without this last little bit trying to hold things together, which is not necessary for an anthology, I thought this would have been a better movie. I like the animation eventually. I'm not fond really of the Arcane style. I didn't watch the show, but it was really interesting watching the kind of the graphic nature of it all, especially with the predator, like blood being green, I guess. Once again, didn't know that. But for a movie that was less than an hour and a half, I thought this was pretty enjoyable. And honestly, I do think this should have been in theaters. Despite it being an anthology, it's a little bit harder to sell with it being an animation. Will I be checking out more Predator movies because of it? Maybe. There's a lot of talk about Prey, and it's the same director, so I ended up giving this movie a 3.5, because while I think the animation does eventually get amazing and these stories are all interesting, they're all pretty expected in terms of the story beats, and I think the last bit was not needed at all, but it was fun to watch. Are you gonna watch Predator Killer Killers? Have you seen it? What did you think? And of course, follow for more.